The fifth secret to a more connected family in the 21st century is train the brain. And when I use the word train and I use the word brain, it refers to what technology is actually doing to our brains and the impact that it's having on it. There's numerous research studies out there. In fact, one neuroscientist actually believes that we have reached an evolutionary peak in the human capacity to think, meaning that as a human species, we're smarter than we've ever been before, and that technology is beginning to make our brains and our intelligence decline. Now, I want to reverse that trend, and I believe that we can do it by setting healthy limits in the home. That's why the American Academy of Pediatrics is so strict when it comes to screen time for those under the age of 2. And those over the age of 2, less than 1 to 2 hours a day of screen time. I know we've talked a lot about teens, but I want to really hone in here as we think about the brain, because the brain grows faster in the first few years of life than at any other point. And the reason the American Academy of Pediatrics is so strict is because the sedentary, mindless activity of an infant and toddler wires their brain for that type of activity. Infants and toddlers grow by interacting with humans, not with screens. What concerns me today is that a lot of parents are parenting out of convenience by putting screens in front of their children as babysitters. I want to promise you this: if you don't connect and talk to your kids early on as infants and toddlers, they're not going to want to talk to you as they age and they become teenagers. It'll be very difficult. As we think about what it means to train our brains, we have to think about it in the context of our own lives and what it means to parent well. That's why we recommend setting a family schedule, because it's very easy over time to put your son or daughter in front of a screen and lose track of time because you went off and did an activity, such as doing the dishes or a household chore and just taking a break. But before you know it, a long time could pass. And if you've ever tried to take an electronic device or turn the TV off on a toddler or even a young child, you understand the power of that device. Don't think Disney and all these cartoon executives and producers don't know what they're doing as it relates to the colors, the voices, and even the things that are said in the context of cartoons and other TV programs. They know how to attract our kids. And what it's doing to their brains is it's teaching them to be amused, be entertained rather than muse. Muse meaning to think, to have a brain that's creative. I believe that's why these executives in the Silicon Valley are sending their kids to schools where technology is completely omitted and not even allowed, because they want their kids to have those creative minds. That's what I want for this next generation of kids, not to be dumbed down by the technology. What does that mean for us as parents? Yes, it means a lot more work. But you know what? When we became parents, what did we sign up for? We signed up for instilling values and morals into the next generation. And I pray that's how you view raising your own children and leaving that legacy. So how do we train our brains? Set a family schedule with your infants, your toddlers, your young children, even your teenagers, and especially in your marriage, because again, it goes back to you modeling this. Set a family schedule for how much screen time you're placing in your kids' lives. My wife and I, we understand what it means sometimes to survive. When we travel, we allow our younger than 2-year-old children to use technology, to watch a Mickey episode every now and again. Why? Because we just want to survive the travel. But we watch it with him, we talk about it, we engage him in the activity, and we also limit the amount of time he actually has on it. Use these limits, use these interactive pieces as a way to engage your kids. Here's what I would say. Have tech-free zones around your house. Give your kids their bedrooms Give your kids spaces throughout the house where there's no technology, no TV whatsoever, where they can be separate to pray, to meditate, to read with no electronic devices whatsoever. Teach them, set it up in the schedule, the value of having tech-free times to release the brain for creativity, to release the brain to muse, to think. Some other activities that you can implement into your family media agreements or into your home are playing board games and having family nights together. If you watch a movie as a family, interact about that movie. Interact with your kids about that movie. The emotional intelligence of our kids, in many cases, depends upon our emotional intelligence. When your kids are engaging in technology, engage them about what they're feeling as they watch a particular show. Engage them about what they're feeling as they engage the technologies. Some other important activities. Read books together. Have times as a family to pray, to meditate, and to have relaxation times. Also, in your own life and in the life of your kids, teach sequential tasking. Not multitasking, not doing two activities on a screen at a time, such as texting and watching television. Teach your kids to do sequential tasking, one project at a time. Research shows it is way more productive and advantageous on our brains than to be multitasking over the course of a number of different screens. Lastly, exercise together. Get outside together and create memories together. It triggers the parts of the brain that build connection, relational connection, within the context of our lives. Yes, it takes a little more work, but I promise you, it will be worth it.